Hello,
Hello,
I'm Julie, Sorman.
I'm Sean for MTO.
Welcome back to Daily Dose. Today we are giving you a daily dose of
Alchemy.
alchemy. You mean like my spirit is transformed?
The sweet science.
The sweet science, huh?
Yeah.
So what is alchemy?
It's beakers and flasks and fires.
But I always see a lot of people doing like spiritual alchemy classes. Transform your spirit.
Spiritual alchemy is part of it.
Is part of what? Is part of alchemy?
Part of alchemy.
Is it possible to do just spiritual alchemy?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Happy Tuesday.
happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Tuesday? Tuesday.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
I know what day it is.
Sometimes.
Happy Tuesday and Mars Day
Yes.
and Tears Day.
Hopefully you are healthy and safe,
Indeed.
staying home, and keeping your social distance.
We didn't stay home today.
We did not. We did have to go into town today.
Had to
But we
go
did keep
around
our
today.
social distance.
We did.
Yeah.
You must
So-
stay at least 2 alchemical beakers away from...
Depends on the beaker.
Right. Yeah, so book of the day today. I think it was just posted. My connection was kind of shoddy, so I'll double check after this. But I'm going to be talking about some alchemy stuff, and everything we're talking about today is covered in this book.
It's backwards.
It's backwards. This is my book, Alchemical Theory, and it's basically, it breaks down a lot of alchemical knowledge. I try to make everything like really basic and easy to understand for the layman.
So if you're completely new to alchemy, this is definitely a book that would be suitable for you.
Yep.
Also, if you've been working alchemy for a while and are looking for some new insights or processes or ways to do physical alchemy, this is an excellent book.
Yeah, and it really, I try to use analogies and stories to make it really easy to understand. So we're going to talk about a few things from here. It's available on Kindle or paperback. Paperbacks right now usually are, I don't know, Amazon's saying it's like April 26th before they're shipping. So you can get the Kindle version of this. I have a follow-up book. Book 2 is Herbal Alchemy. And it is only available right now in paperback, but probably, hopefully by this weekend or early next week, I'm going to have a Kindle version of it out.
Yes.
I never released it in Kindle because it's designed to be a workbook. And unfortunately,
For you to write in it.
I'm out of that one. So I think I
Can't
have
show
one
that
buried in my book cupboard, but as far as copies to sell, I'm out of it. But it has actual journal pages for you to journal in, and things like that. So it's designed to be a workbook. But, you know, you can use your own journal if you have to. With everything that's going on, I thought it was a good idea to go ahead and release that in a Kindle format. So it should be out here shortly. But
Yay.
there we go. Enough of that.
So alchemy.
Alchemy.
Alchemy is very much a physical working process. It's where our modern day chemistry originated. Yeah, I'll let you talk about
you're
it.
doing
He's
good.
the alchemist.
You're doing good.
I'm the herbalist. I'll help you choose which herbs to do some spagyrics with.
So yeah, alchemy was the forerunner of chemistry. Very much like astrology was kind of the forerunner of astronomy. And those mystical arts separated into the mystical art and science at some point. So yeah, if you're doing alchemy, you're actually doing alchemical practices. You know, you're literally burning, for example, if we stick with herbal alchemy, you're processing herbs, you're burning them, you're soaking them in alcohols and waters and trying to affect change on them. But as you're doing that, you're mirroring that within yourself as well. So when you asked at the beginning, can you do just spiritual alchemy? Spiritual alchemy is a type of alchemy. But if you're going to pull the spiritual part away from alchemy, you're basically doing a Tony Robbins Improve Yourself course.
Yeah.
You know, hey, it's Tony Robbins.
It's more internal self-help.
Yes.
I guess constructs within spiritual alchemy, or at least most of the courses that I've seen being offered by many a guru out there on how to transform your spirit. Which, I mean, liturgy is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I have a blog post on this, actually. It's on the Yield Magic Shop website. Go to yieldmagicshop.com, click on blog posts.
We'll post a link.
Yep. I think it's called What is Alchemy? Because it used to infuriate me when people would post classes. Yeah, it still does a little bit, but they'd post classes, spiritual alchemy. Come and learn, how to, find your divine self, or whatever it is they're doing in the class.
What does that even mean? Yeah.
And it used to just really grate on my nerves.
You know what really grinds my gears?
No, you can't have spiritual alchemy without the physical part. It's a symbiotic process. But I did this blog post and I researched it because I was going to try to blast that. And, by dictionary definition and everything else, the word alchemy itself actually means transformation. So when you're doing spiritual alchemy, it's spiritual transformation. So can you have it? Yes. But for me, when you're talking about alchemy, it's beakers and boiling and waters and herbs and minerals and all that stuff. And as you're doing that, you're learning and you're filtering, say, the impure substances from the pure substances. It's a model for you to filter the impure stuff out of your life and out of your soul from the purer side and try to elevate that part. So
the original goal of the alchemist was what, though?
To turn lead into gold.
Right.
That was the physical goal.
The physical goal.
Which is an analogy for turning the leaden soul into the golden soul.
For something more pure.
Mm-hmm. So that process of transformation, is just spiritual alchemy? Yeah, kind of. But from an alchemist perspective myself, I believe you need to have both.
Mm-hmm. So what is the Philosopher's Stone? What is that whole thing?
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I actually wanted to talk today. I wanted to talk about different types of alchemy.
Oh, awesome. Let's do that.
So first one that I usually go into is herbal alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
Something you know a little bit about.
A little bit.
So herbal alchemy consists of usually making herbal medicines and tinctures. And we make and sell about 150 different tinctures.
Herbal alchemy is called?
Spagyrics.
So if you see a spagyric tincture, that's a very specific process that you have to undergo with the plant to make a spagyric tincture. Not all tinctures are created equal. The majority of time when you see a tincture on the shelves at Whole Foods or what have you, it's usually just herbs or sometimes just their essential oil soaked in alcohol, extracted, and then mixed with water. And that's what you buy. That's not what spagyrics is.
Right. So in alchemy, there's 3 primary principles, and that is salt, sulfur, and mercury, and those equate to body, mind, and soul, if you want to go that route. So body, mind, and soul. And in alchemy, we believe that if you're making, for example, alchemical medicines, they need to treat body, mind, and soul, not just treat not just treat the body. You need to treat everything. And so in spagyrics, and this is what my whole second book is about, it walks you through, there's over 150 color photographs, takes you through the whole process of making a spagyric or an alchemical tincture. Basically, the short of it is you extract the oils from the physical herb, you take the physical herb that's left and you transform it. So you burn it to pure ash, you filter the ash, you dissolve the ash into water, you evaporate and distill the water off of it, and you're left with a more purified substance that is then added back into the original oils and extraction fluids that you pulled from it. Because if you just extract the oils are equivalent to the mind of the herb. The alcohol or the extraction fluid is spirit. Where's the body? There's nothing to treat the body. There's no vehicle for that to deliver its healing to your body. So we transform the body of the herb, the impure body, and we raise it up and we elevate it, and then we re-add that. So in our alchemical tinctures, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this.
Keep everything in an amber bottle.
In the very
sediment.
In the very bottom, there's a little bit of sediment, and you always shake it up before you use it so that you get some of the body of the herb when you take it. So that's an alchemical tincture. So herbal alchemy, you mentioned stones, Philosopher's Stone, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yes.
There's a plant version of the Philosopher's Stone.
Which is a very cool process in itself. I'm not sure if you go into it in your book. Do you?
I do not. I'm going to be doing
We're going to
a
be writing a
different
new book on that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a way to make a symbiotic stone with herbs.
That has very, very, even more healing power than a tincture does.
It is a process.
Yep.
I mean, if I thought that general symbiotics was a process, creating an herbal symbiotic stone is much more
another level up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you create a vegetable stone, and they're usually about the size of a marble or so. You can take those, you can shave a small piece of it off, dissolve it, drink it. You can submerge, depending on the type of stone, you can try to submerge the whole stone in water, and just a little bit should dissolve off of it. Some stones, depending on the herb, will just completely dissolve, so you have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to experiment a little bit with like some of the leftovers to find out if you can do that. But so you can create an herbal stone, and they're very powerful healing tools.
Absolutely.
So that's mineral alchemy.
Mineral alchemy.
Or I'm sorry, that's herbal.
No, it's herbal alchemy. If you go to...
That's the main kinds of herbal alchemy we work with, is spagyrics and herbal stones. There's a few others, like creating the herbal ends, which is kind of like a tincture, but you're starting at a different point. There's some other things you can do, certainly with herbal alchemy. Essential oils would be if you extract your own essential oils and your own hydrosols. That is a type of herbal alchemy as well.
Alchemical process. It is about purifying, taking more pure components of a thing and making them more pure. And
we have videos of that. We already have 2 videos of doing an essential oil and hydrosol extraction on our page. Go check out the videos, and there's 2 of them there. I think one of them is rose, and one of them was doing abramelin.
Yes.
So there's 2 of those videos already posted.
You can kind of see our setup a little bit.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to doing alchemy, you don't need a whole chemical setup. You can do it with just what you have in your kitchen, which is pretty awesome. So,
you may need a few things, but they're all things that are easily obtained at Walmart,
Pyrex dish,
for example,
or something like that. But yeah, it's not very intensive with regard to the tools that you need to get or obtain. So that's great.
Until you get hooked.
Then you want to start buying
stuff. But yeah, in my second book, Herbal Alchemy, everything that you need in there is all really basic stuff that everybody either already has or you can easily obtain for... If you didn't have any of the things that you'd need for my second book for making a tincture, you'd maybe need to spend, say, $50 to get everything in there. And
if that.
Depending on how you shopped, you could certainly save some off of that as well.
Right. You essentially need some herbs, some alcohol, a couple of dishes, and an oven.
Yep.
If that, if you choose to use the oven. You could also...
Butane torch works better, but you can do it in the oven.
Yep.
So then after herbal alchemy, we have mineral alchemy.
Yes.
Mineral alchemy is working with...
Minerals.
Minerals!
But do you mean minerals like what I would get in an herb? Like vitamins and minerals?
Sort of. By minerals, usually we're working with different types of stones and gems.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can make with minerals, you can make something similar to a tincture that we call a stone elixir.
Yes.
And you can create those.
Got some outside.
Yeah, we have some in the bathroom, I think.
Oh, do we?
I think so. If you want to go look.
Sure.
So a stone elixir is very much like a tincture, but it is made from the energy contained in a type of stone or a gemstone. So you can make the stone elixirs out of things like tiger eye, out of obsidian, almost any kind of stone that has an energy about it. You can make them out of gemstones, something like a ruby or an emerald, those kinds of things as well. You can also create a stone out of minerals. So you can grind up the stone to a fine powder, and you would imbibe it with various things to get it to reform into a new substance and a new stone. No?
No stone elixir, unfortunately.
So that is... they look just like this, only they're in a blue bottle.
A word of caution, though, with stone elixirs. Not all stones can be ingested or imbibed.
Correct.
So do your research on that. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure which ones cannot be, but...
Malachite.
Malachite. That's a great one.
Malachite is actually a type of has a a bit of radiation in it. And so if you put malachite in water for an extended period of time, the radiation
can leach into
the water. And it's, you know, it's not going to be lethal or anything like that, but it's not good for you. So when I make I can't talk today. When I make malachite stone elixirs, what I do is I put the malachite in another small glass jar that seals.
Or a vial that seals.
And I put that inside of a larger jar that's then filled with the fluid for
distilled water,
the substance to absorb the energies of that. So there's ways around.
Yeah. So it is still absorbing the energy from the stone, but not necessarily the stone itself.
Yep.
So just be careful with that.
And some like sandstone, for example, would just dissolve.
Selenite wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's too, you can get little flakes of it and they can catch in your throat. So you got to be careful. There are certainly, well, just like herbs, there's some herbs you don't want to make a tincture of.
Any Solanaceae.
What's the one we have? Henbane.
Henbane. No? Well,
no,
that could be, mandrake can be, they all can be, you just need to know your stuff and be careful with it. A good example is I made a tincture of Amanita muscaria one time. And
that was interesting.
The first time I tried it, it didn't work. When I strained the Amanita, the portion out that I needed to then burn, I still just had my fluid left over. For some reason, the fluid started to grow its own gelatinous
new stuff kept growing
inside it. It was
really funky.
It
over and over, and it just kept growing back. And
it looked like there were these little jellyfish just growing inside the menstruum that we had.
It's kind of cool, actually.
It was really cool. So I just completely scrapped that whole experiment. But then I did another Amanita tincture, and that one worked out great. So I'm not sure why the first one didn't really turn out well, but the second one did. Just something trial and error. Practice. Be sure that if you are using a poisonous or psychedelic plant in your tinctures that you use gloves. Just a word of caution there.
What's the herb that can stop your heart?
Oh gosh, a lot of them can.
Well, there's one that we have a tincture of that we use for spiritual.
I know,
I'm drawing a blank on it.
Hemlock. Candy hemlock.
We have a tincture.
Hemlock.
You don't want to take it. You don't want to imbibe a hemlock tincture, for example.
Yeah. It's hemlock that we have.
So anyway, herbs, minerals, be careful. With all of them. As we get to each one, you're going to need to be careful.
Yeah. That goes with ingesting anything.
We'd be happy to help you out if you need help with that. So let us know.
Yes. Again, thank you for all the questions via PMs. Keep them coming. It gives us insight into what you're looking for and what we can touch on in these vlogs. So thank you.
So after herbal and mineral alchemy, we have metallic alchemy, which is sort of the more traditional alchemy because they were trying to turn lead into gold. So now we get into metals. The issue with working with metals in alchemy is to do a lot of the changes to the metals that you need to, you have to use chemicals. And many of those chemicals are caustic and or explosive and or just generally dangerous to have around.
Yeah.
And they can get you on some interesting government lists.
Yes.
So metallic alchemy can be difficult to do certain things with. But it is definitely one of the types of alchemy. You can create metallic tinctures. You've probably heard of some called colloidal silver and colloidal gold.
Which also be very careful with those. The photosensitivity that can come from those types of tinctures can be long-lasting and permanent.
You'll end up looking like Papa Smurf.
They'll turn blue.
And if you don't believe me, Google man who looks like Papa Smurf.
Or just colloidal silver blue skin, and you will find a whole bunch of things like that.
There's a gentleman who, I can't remember where, I think he was from like Wisconsin or something. He was on the Oprah Winfrey show. He did the whole talk show circuit. He imbibed a lot of colloidal silver, and not only did he imbibe it, he actually washed with it.
He kind of went overboard with it.
And if you look at his before pictures, he actually had a bit of a ruddy complexion, which means his skin is more sensitive
to sunlight,
photosensitivity and stuff. So this man literally turned blue, and when I say he turned blue, I mean
like the color
he
of
looked
this
like
cup
the color
blue.
Of this cup blue.
A little darker blue, more like my shirt blue.
And he had a big white beard and white hair, and he literally looks like Papa Smurf.
I know, and I hate the fact that he does like the talk show circuit where he kind of,
well, he passed away
look
now.
Right, but he did do the talk show circuit. He's like, hey, look at my blue face, as if it was some kind of freak show to look at. But it's really dangerous, and I'm surprised that he
just
lived
be
as long as
careful.
he did.
All this stuff you got to be careful with. You got to do your research. You have to understand and know what you're working with. So, metallic alchemy, you can make tinctures. Now we get to the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is... a lot of people think the Philosopher's Stone is like the end goal of alchemy, which is turning lead into gold. Mm-hmm. And that's not true. The Philosopher's Stone is actually a stone that is created, and that stone actually contains the energy that when put in water with lead facilitates a chemical reaction that turns the lead into gold. Mm-hmm. So you take that same Philosopher's Stone that you put in water with lead that mutates it to gold, mm-hmm. and you imbibe a tincture of it, and it turns your leaden soul
or spirit
into gold, or turns the mortal soul into an immortal soul. So that's really what the Philosopher's Stone is about and what it is.
Which is cool that J.K. Rowling kind of did her research on that for Harry Potter, that it did make you immortal. So yeah, just a little side note there.
So then we have herbal alchemy and mineral alchemy and metallic alchemy, and then we have animal alchemy.
Animal alchemy.
Huzzah! Animal alchemy is interesting. Mm-hmm. There's some various things you can do with animal alchemy. When we say animal alchemy, we're literally talking about using
animal
parts of animals and peoples, mm-hmm. Which should all be ethically gathered.
Obtained.
And when we say parts, I'm not talking about...
Oh, that's good, Ken. I love it.
Ken just said, when Julie laughs, is that a brouhaha? We're not talking about like using a finger or something like that, but you can use nail clippings.
Oh, and hi, Valerie. I know, a little bit, right?
You can use nail clippings. You can use eyelashes, hair.
Snake skin. Black cat hair.
Cat claws.
Mm-hmm. Bones.
Dare we say blood and urine.
Yes.
These are all things that you can do alchemical processes with.
Be very safe when we're talking blood and urine and any other kind of excrement.
Yeah, this is not something for a beginner. This is something that you want to do when you've practiced many of the other forms of alchemy first and have a much better understanding of it. I'm only aware of a couple of books out there that actually address animal alchemy.
Maybe you should write one.
I am. So there are a couple, and most of them are very old. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely some things you can learn and some interesting processes to do with this. Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you do want to venture into animal alchemy, I would certainly start with the self. Your own fingernails, your own hair, things like that. Maybe it could help you form a more intimate relationship with yourself and becoming a little bit more you. That you-ness that you are imbibing could be something helpful. But I know we've all heard of different tales and stories of women using menstrual blood to enchant a man or a lover, for example. So using parts and pieces of self can go a long way in magic and in alchemy especially.
Yep. So after herbal alchemy and mineral and metallic and animal, now we have magical alchemy. So what is magical alchemy? So alchemy is a type of transformation. So magical alchemy would be transformation via using magical means. Mm-hmm. So there are various rituals and things that we do in the Golden Dawn that... what's wrong?
Nothing.
Various rituals that we do that are spiritual transformational rituals. And those could be considered a type of magical alchemy. Then we have fun things like the homunculi.
Yes.
Which kind of bridges the gap between animal alchemy and magical alchemy.
A homunculus is?
Homunculi means little man.
Homunculi is plural. A homunculus is a little man.
So when you see the old alchemist laboratory and you see like a little man in a jar mm-hmm. on a shelf, that was a homunculus. Mm-hmm. So it is artificially created personage or humanoid form in usually small form.
Usually use a chicken egg and inject it with sperm and human sperm. It's a fun process.
So creating a homunculus, that's a type of animal or magical alchemy as well. Like I said, borders the line between, or it kind of bridges the gap between animal and magical. So anything you would do that's as a magical ritual to transform yourself. In the Golden Dawn, we have a ritual of transformation where you are bringing into your sphere of sensation a mystical or magical animal, such as, say, a phoenix or a pegasus, to throw a couple out there, a griffin, a dragon, and you bring their energy in and you merge with it, and you learn from the feeling of that mythical energy. These animals like that, we say they're mythical animals. The reality is they exist. They just exist on the astral level. Right. So we're taking a real creature at the astral level and we're bonding in some form with it.
And when you think about archetypal constructs that everybody has, everybody can imagine or image a dragon in your mind or a phoenix or whatever it may be, but using that mythical energy and transforming it into self is very powerful.
And if you want to look at what many shamans do, they will they would call shape-shifting, where they transform themselves into one of these, a wolf or an owl or whatever animal. Witchcraft as well. Within witchcraft, it's very much, yeah. So these are all common threads that run through many different magical systems, and those could all be a form of magical alchemy. Because you're doing a transformation via a magical
of your
means.
Spirit into another being, into another type of being.
Yep. Yeah. So after magical alchemy, then we get to the last one, which is spiritual alchemy.
Hey, finally, what you're all here for.
So there's again some crossover between magical alchemy and spiritual alchemy. Spiritual alchemy is the evolution of the soul, the transformation of the soul.
It's much more of a mystical process than a magical process.
Yep. You're transforming it into, there's a lot of ways to look at it. And we border on some belief systems here as well. So, to each their own. I don't
on your tradition
ever dictate to what somebody else would believe. I'll give you a quick example. Some people believe, that fits in with alchemy. Some people believe that the soul is, so from a reincarnation aspect, that not everybody reincarnates. Only certain people souls who have evolved to a certain level end up reincarnating. Others, their soul goes back into the one or the all, the ether or and whatever a part of them maybe comes back, but not each one individually. Through a process of spiritual alchemy, you're evolving your soul to a higher level that would enable you to reincarnate in future existences. So that's just one example. Again, if you don't believe in reincarnation, fine. Just using it as a quick example. So yeah, that's the major groups of the different types of alchemy out there: herbal alchemy, mineral alchemy, metallic alchemy, animal alchemy, magical alchemy, and spiritual alchemy. And I cover a brief bit of those, each one of those in my books, and I have books planned on a majority of those topics that'll probably be coming out over the next few years. So
yeah, cool.
So anyway.
If anybody has any questions on alchemy or want to discuss further, let us know. Shoot us a message, leave a comment, and thanks for being here.
Yep. So again, posted a link to my book. If it's not there, I'll post it right after this. But this one's called Alchemical Theory, Unlocking the Mysteries of Alchemy. And the second book is called Herbal Alchemy. And they're both available on Amazon. And like I said, the Herbal Alchemy book is only available in paperback today. Hopefully by early next week, there should be a Kindle version of that one out.
Yeah, so keep your eyes out. Cool.
That's all I got.
Yay. Yeah, so thanks for being here, and we will check you tomorrow on Daily Dose.
Tomorrow would be...
book review.
Daily Dose of book reviews. We'll each review another book.
What am I going to pick?
I don't know.
I got so many. Cool.
So anyway.
Yeah.
We will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.